You've seen the dedication, the long hours, the early mornings, the sacrifice. You know your athlete has what it takes, but how do you make sure the right people see it? The recruiting process isn't easy. Coaches are flooded with highlights, but how do you stand out in the crowd? At Varsity Media, we specialize in creating game-changing ISO videos, high-definition, athlete-focused footage that highlights exactly what college recruiters want to see. With our up-close ISO video, we capture your athlete's key moments. No more wide angles showing other players. This is just your athlete's pure, raw talent. This is more than a video. This is the opportunity your athlete deserves. Give your athlete the edge they need. Make the right impression with Varsity Media's ISO video service. The future starts now.
From Floral Park High School, it is a beautiful early September afternoon, but thoughts kind of go to late October with this matchup. Two perennial powerhouses battling it out in the opening game of the Nassau A1 schedule. It is the Mustangs of Mineola and the Knights of Floral Park. Today's matchup sponsored by Lifestyle Sports, as well as Uptown Taco. And last but certainly not least, Clawcade. Well, a pleasant good afternoon, everyone. Dylan Butler alongside Al Freeman.
Afternoon, Dylan.
Good afternoon, and we should have an outstanding matchup here today, Al. If you're a fan of the English Premier League, it would be hard to fathom like Liverpool and Manchester City opening up against each other. But that's the kind of matchup we have here today. Mineola, the visitors, they are used to deep runs in the postseason. And, of course, Floral Park, the defending New York State champions as well. It sets up, and it's a battle of contrasting styles, which we'll get to during the broadcast, but it sets up for a really entertaining showdown.
Yes, it does, Dylan. These two teams know each other very well. And even with new coach Rob Mendes taking over this year for Al Cavaluzzo, it's going to be pretty much more of the same with some minor tweaking that we'll talk about during the course of the match.
Yeah, so you started with Mineola. Let's go there. The Mustangs come into this game. Only one non-conference game. It was a loss to Kellenberg by a goal. A penalty kick was the difference in that one. But as you mentioned, a new head coach who has been part of the program for about a decade, whether it was on the JV or as an assistant coach, Rob Mendes. It's a technical team. They want to play the ball. They want to combine. But also, Rob Mendes, one of his first messages to his team was, we can't just win by being technical. Club ball doesn't translate to the high school level. And as we know, high school soccer is about intensity. It's about physicality. As such, these Mustangs, the tweak you mentioned before, is now a 3-5-2 formation, which allows for a little bit more direct play, a little bit more of flooding the midfield and winning second balls there. And
it is predicated on having three solid backs and a keeper who understands what his role in this kind of movement from a 4-3-3 to a 3-5-2. And Mineola believes they have it in their number 6 center back. And I saw them play the other day against Kellenberg, and even though they lost the match on a PK, I thought they were much the better side.
So we take a look at our players to watch now for the Mustangs, and Zane Reese, a guy who has kind of featured all around, right? An attacking midfielder a year ago. He's going to be today in this new formation your left wing back, but a captain, a 4-year varsity player, and Lionel Carrijo, a terrific ball winner as well in the number 6 position. It's a double pivot there along with Juan Felipe Flores, but Carrillo loves to tackle, loves to win balls, does a great job of running that midfield.
And he's quite a player, and he wasn't available to the Mustangs when they lost to Kellenberg. So he's a huge addition today in this first matchup.
So Reese and Carrillo should play a pivotal role should the Mustangs get a road victory here in their Nassau A1 opener. We take a look now at the Knights of Floral Park, and yes, what a season it was a year ago. Al, we take a look at the graphic, 15-3-1 overall. They win their first state championship. They win their first Long Island championship, of course, which came before the state championship. They beat Lawrence in the county title game, avenging a loss from the year before. Everything was roses for these Knights last year, but they graduate 8 seniors who were starters off of that team. So Akil Rodney says, you know, we're not really defending. We're looking to continue to build our culture, and so much of what Floral Park is in a lot of ways maybe the antithesis of what Mineola is. They're not a super technical team, but they bring the intensity, they bring that mentality, they bring the physicality, and that's what so often wins high school soccer games.
That absolutely is a lot of times what wins high school soccer games. Now, I happened to be in the booth last week when they played a very talented Southside team, and while Southside had the more technical players and pushed in an early goal in the first half, Floral Park came right back on and pushed the envelope in the second half and had much the better of the play. And Southside was fortunate in some ways to come away with a 1-0 win.
Floral Park 2-1 in the non-conference season. They did bounce back off of that loss that you mentioned, beating Kellenberg, so a common opponent there between these two teams. When we look at the players to watch for the Knights, 2 guys who are a big part of the culture of Floral Park. 2 4-year guys who came up from the JV. They went on to varsity at the same time. They're both wearing the captain's armbands. Brady Kroon, a different responsibility for him this year as a more attacking presence in the midfield, and also Sam Amorati as well.
I would say those 2 for sure, and I'd like to add a player who was all over the field last week, Joe Donovan, who was moved from his left back position in that early match, and now he's going to be in the midfield because they want to improve the attack. Coach Akil Rodney feels that they have to try to score a few more goals, and certainly in a game like this, that makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the starting lineups, which are brought to you by Lifestyle Sports. First for Mineola, we mentioned, in a 3-5-2 formation. Your 3 center backs, Michael Kesey, Christian Perez, and Julio Quaresma. Your left wing back, we mentioned Zane Reese. Your right wing back, Leo Quayle. Double pivot, we mentioned Carrillo and Felipe Flores. Your attacking midfielder, Camille Najib. And up front, 2 forwards this year, Eric Barbosa, JDL Acosta are your 2 forwards for Mineola.
If I could, at this point, I just want to mention that the center back, Christian Perez, is a returning player who was playing for MLS last year, and he's a huge addition. And again, he's going to be the center back, and their 3-5-2 is predicated on his ability to control the back.
And you see there in the goal, it is Matthew Osorio. Big shoes to fill. Last year and the previous couple of years, it was Jesse Castulius, an outstanding netminder. Osorio, 7 saves in that first game. A very technical goalkeeper. For the new head coach of Mineola, it is Rob Mendez, a 2005 Wheatley grad. You mentioned before, filled in or replaced Al Cavalluzzo, who was the previous head coach for 6 years. Mendez has been here, though. He was the JV coach when Paul Pereira was at the helm, won a state title in his senior year at Wheatley. Played at LIU Post, New Paltz as well. Christian Leard, the Mineola great, is his assistant coach. We take a look at the starters now for Floral Park and the Knights. You can call it a 4-5-1, 4-3-3, but similar concepts there. We start in the back. It is Akash Doshi, Declan Lally, Charlie McCarron, and Danny Marrero. Your number 6 is James Black. your center midfielder, Caden Sy. We mentioned Kroon before. You mentioned Donovan at left midfield, Sam Amirati at right midfield, and up front, it is Damian Cherry today. A little bit of a change lineup because of injuries, which we'll get to in a moment. But the goalie for Floral Park, he too was a backup a year ago to Oscar Dalton. It is now his time to shine. It is Zach Sarcona. 15 saves on this season, that one clean sheet as well. Plays for Hoda, a great shot stopper for the head coach of Floral Park. Of course, that is Akil Rodney. 6th season, was right down the block here. Elmont 09 graduate, former high school All-American as well. Good to see Akil Rodney on the sideline. We'll take a look now at the keys to this game as we're just about set to start here, Al. For both of these teams, again, it is a contrast of style. So yeah, Mineola, they want to ratchet up their intensity, and they want to use their soccer IQ when it comes to battling Floral Park. And we are off and running here at Floral Park. You can see that glare of the sun in our eyes. You got to imagine it's going to also affect maybe some of the players here as that first ball goes out. And we'll have our first corner kick of the game. And that's one of the keys we were showing you there for a moment. Set pieces, vitally important, Mineola said, defending them. That's a big part of what Floral Park can do with their size and physicality.
Well, one of the things that you and I discussed before the game is that this is a narrow field, so corner kicks are going to have an easier time getting into the middle of the penalty area.
It was played in to the near post. Joe Donovan, we mentioned him before, the junior, scored a goal on this season. His brother Michael was a starting forward on the team a year ago. He was unable to get on the end of that, and right away we're seeing Floral Park pressing, and that's a smart tactic, isn't it, Al? You don't want to give Mineola the opportunity to be on the ball a lot. So, yeah, let's press him out of the ball. And
well, that is Floral Park style. As we talked before, physicality wins high school ball games, and being a presence on the ball all over the field is certainly in that ballpark.
Kroon won that first ball. Black, the second to it. There he is, number 2 in the middle of the park. Plays it up that far sideline, and an opportunity for Floral Park. That one will go out. I think the offside flag was raised. We didn't mention our officials. Good crew here, 2-man crew, Steve Padditz and Frank Fizzone.
One of the things that Mineola is going to have to do to maximize the space is to be camped on the touchline. If they get caught pinching in, they're going to have trouble getting the ball through.
First foul is called. You saw the push in the back against Julia Quaresma. Someone who Mendez, as you see the replay of it, found on the basketball court, a freak athlete. But again, you don't want to give up set pieces to this Floral Park team.
On these set pieces, Amirati is the go-to guy.
Well, there he is, serving the ball in, far post, and it will just go through and out for a goal kick. Early goings here. It's Nassau A1. It is a battle of two teams that we expect will be at the very top of the table here. And when the calendar turns to October and we start to get into the chilly weather, we expect both of these teams also to make deep runs into the postseason. Ball out to the midfield. Won by Floral Park. Chipped ahead by Kroon. Off his line well was Osorio. Rob Mendez says if it was not for Jessica Stulius, Matthew Osorio probably would have started not only in his program, but in many programs around Nassau County.
It's great to have that kind of talent backing up. Most teams are happy to have a starting keeper.
And it's all part of what Mendez says is just, as there's a first shot just wide. It was Brady Kroon, already a goal on this season And Al didn't miss by much.
No, it was well taken to the far post, and he almost picked the corner out.
And you see how quickly Floral Park goes from defense to offense as Kroon, the captain, 2-year starter, a midfield engine, no nonsense out of the back, sent up high by Charlie McCarron. We mentioned, Al, a lot of changes in the Floral Park starting 11, certainly from that game that you saw against Southside as a foul was called there against Reese. But the center back pairing of McCarron and Lally, that stays the same for Floral Park.
Yep. What's different is, again, Joe Donovan moving up from the back to the midfield to create more attack.
And he had a Cash Doshi going from right back to left back. A lot of changes, left-footed service. It's headed in the air, not cleared. Ball on the turf, and it's won by Floral Park.
What's happened in the first 5 minutes of the match is that Floral Park is winning all the 50-50 balls and controlling the play.
Now an opportunity perhaps for something on the counter, as it is Reese on the ball. Quickly tracked down by Donovan. Reese goes central, and the ball cleared out by Floral Park. It's over the top. Osorio off his line, chests it to himself, dives towards it, but it will be a goal. You can see the speed by the speed by Damian Cherry, and he gets the opening goal for Floral Park.
Floral Park has had the ball down in Mineola's end virtually the entire match to this point, and the more times you keep it down in somebody's end, the more likely it is you're going to force a mistake or get a goal. In this case, they only had 2 goals because Kroon picked out a corner before and almost made it before.
So you could see a little bit too casual there was Matthew Osorio. We mentioned how technical he is, but he thought he could just play it off his chest, play it back to himself, and grab it in the 18, but it was Cherry who forced a turnover and got the tap in.
That is part of the way of playing soccer that Coach Akil Rodney is preaching. High pressure all the time, all over the field.
So right away, Mineola in the 1-0 hole. And they've not had the ball on this side in their attacking third really for much of this game at all. This is really their first foray. Play to feet. And that shot was wide. That attempt by Eric Barbosa, the junior.
You know, what Mineola would like to do, Dylan, is they'd like to play the ball on the carpet. But so far, the ball has been in the air, and they haven't been able to string passes together.
Looking at a 3-5-2, maybe you could use Reese and Cuello, their speed on the outside.
But you have to possess the ball before you can play it, forward.
100%. That's Felipe Flores. Came to Mineola out of Colombia. That ball served into the box. And it will be grabbed easily by Sarcona. Oscar Dalton was one of 8 seniors who graduated a year ago. The one played back this time. Osorio a little more forceful off his line because he saw number 11 for Floral Park, Cherry, in his face. Ball out of touch. It was Carijo who played it. A quick throw for the Knights. These two teams met twice last year in league play, of course. Both games won by Mineola, actually. It was 2-0 here last September 14th with Zane Reese and Carijo scoring the goals. Castulias made 7 saves, and about a month later at Mineola, a 2-1 win for the Mustangs.
I think there's a lesson in that as important as these early season games are, the ones that count are the ones at the end of the season.
That is correct, and that was the 2 of 3 losses on the year for Floral Park last year. As there is Reese. Turns, tries to combine. wins it back. But you mentioned the tightness of the field, and that was one of those situations where he was unable to combine.
If this field was even 5 yards wider, he's through.
Throw in towards midfield, headed out of bounds, as it was Quaresma, one of the 3 center backs for Mineola. There's McCarron. He is your long throw specialist for Floral Park. Sends it to the middle box, flicked on and in! What a goal right off the training ground. And it looks to be Caden Sy.
Well, you mentioned the long throw specialist, but on a narrow field, that becomes even more important.
And you see it again. Flicked on perfectly. And 10 minutes into this one, Floral Park already with a 2-0 lead.
And Dylan, what Floral Park has to do is just settle down and try to play its game. There's plenty of time left for them to come back. It's early, and yes, they're on the heels, but a good team will settle itself down and start to play its game.
So we restart now, and an uphill battle here for the Mustangs. That one's sent into the box, looking for Reese, off his chest. Reese turns, and a good double there, applying that pressure. We mentioned him before. It was number 4, Joe Donovan. And not only did he not concede a scoring opportunity, they also don't concede a corner out of it. It'll be a goal kick.
Well, that's the kind of value that I saw from him during the Southside match. He's all over the field, and he makes good decisions. But you also saw a little bit about what Mineola can do to counter that. They made 2 quick passes. They played the ball over the top to Reese, and he almost had a scoring opportunity there.
And again, Cherry applying the pressure. Only that one forward, but when you have a guy with that kind of speed, really cuts down space. Good combination there out of the Knights. Ball served in. There's Cherry, but he is offside on the play. I want to thank our sponsor. Of course, it's Uptown Taco. Hungry for flavor that hits different? Come on down to Uptown Taco in Floral Park. Whether you're craving sizzling steak, tender chicken, or a fresh-made vegetarian options, every taco is crafted with bold, authentic taste. Pair it with our house-made guac, crispy chips, and an ice-cold drink, and you've got yourself a meal worth celebrating. From quick lunches to late-night bites, Uptown Taco is your neighborhood spot for tacos done right. Stop by Uptown Taco, where every bite is a fiesta in Floral Park. And it's been a fiesta of scoring early on for the Knights.
And they had another scoring opportunity right then that just slid by the goal.
Another long throw. Is it rinse and repeat for Floral Park? No, says Osorio, who parried it away. And now the Mustangs try to maneuver from the midfield. That's Najib. Finds Barbosa, plays it back. That shot from distance, ooh.
It hit the crossbar.
Yeah, that was a little bit more dangerous, I think, than a lot of people thought, out of the foot of Juan Felipe Flores.
I think Sarcona was thought the same thing.
Yeah, you see it again. Right foot up in the air. Sarcona's like, oh, it's going to go over. It kissed that upper 90. 2-0 the score early on. Floral Park, goals by Damian Cherry and Caden Sy. And Floral Park looking for more of that service. Looking for Cherry. Osorio off his line. Looks to play quick. here is Reese. Great size, that is Zane Reese. Wants to combine. He does so with JDL Acosta. Acosta, though, dispossessed. And no, they will call a foul on Floral Park. So the Mustangs put the ball back in the play, and there is Christian Perez. You mentioned it before, was a freshman on that team that made that run upstate. Great service, ball headed backwards. Perez last year was in MLS Next with New York Soccer Club. Made his way back, though, to Mineola this year and has been arguably the biggest addition to this Mustangs team this year.
Kind of a nice free agent acquisition.
Yeah. Yeah, a little transfer deadline, free transfer. Quick throw in. And ooh, that takes a wicked bounce for Floral Park. There is Cherry. Flicked on, but Osorio well off his line. No problem there as he got to the ball before Caden Sy. Osorio to the left. Trying to turn there was Carrijo. Coelho does turn. And now some numbers perhaps from Mineola. Headed out by Donovan Well. And now Donovan fouled from behind. A frustration foul for Zane Reese.
One of the things I'm noticing so far, Dylan, is that when Mineola possesses the ball and comes through in the middle, they should be looking to move the ball from side to side. And so far they're going direct, but they're being stymied by Floral Park's defense. If they can get someone either to check back or someone to overlap and get the ball from side to side, they're going to have a better chance to put the ball into the 18-yard line.
As you mentioned, it's not a wide field, but you do want to use every inch of the width of it if you are Mineola. Ball played in, edge of the 18. And it will go out.
I think a foul was called at the 18.
Foul against Floral Park. And listen, we want to step right up in the future of fun clawcade at Roosevelt Field Mall. It's part arcade, part prize adventure, and all excitement. Test your skills at our wall-to-wall claw machines. Win exclusive prizes and challenge your friends to see who can take home the biggest haul. With endless games, flashing lights, nonstop thrills, Clawcade isn't just an arcade. It's an experience. Bring your crew, bring your skills, and bring home the prizes at Clawcade, located right inside Roosevelt Field Mall. The claws are waiting. Are you ready to play?
One of the early strategies for Floral Park, Dylan, is to put Camille Najib right on Christian Lopez.
Here is Reese. Couldn't set up his left foot. Tries it again, though. Reese looks to combine. Knocked away well. And now here come the Knights the other way. And you can see right away, right, their strategy, Al, is we win the ball. Let's try to get Cherry going towards goal, utilize his speed. It is a warm afternoon here in Floral Park, early September. Both head coaches kind of lamented, Al. Kind of wish this wasn't the opening game of the league season, but lo and behold, it is. And it's Floral Park with that early 2-0 lead.
It's going to be hard to dribble out of your own end today with that kind of high pressure.
And a foul was called on the edge of the box, the left edge of the box against Mineola. So this one will be played like a corner kick for the Knights. Low service near post. That was Amirati.
Well, what they get is a consolation prize when the ball went off of Mineola is to get a long throw-in, which can be actually more accurate in a field like this.
Yeah, I don't think you get a consolation prize at Clawcade, but you do get one here at Floral Park as you have that deep throw again by McCarran. McCarron slings it high in the air. Knocked away well by Osorio. Mustangs trying to get something quick. Ball played over the top. A little late off his line. Sarcona, though, able to clear. And that's what you mentioned earlier. That's the change a little bit in Mineola. They're not afraid at times, certainly, to go direct when it's there.
And they've got the speed to break through.
And on the back there, foul against Floral Park. Steve Paditz says, hang on, let's back that ball up a little bit. That'll be Perez to serve. Good ball. Kind of pinballs around that 18. Second ball won, at least momentarily, by Felipe Flores. Here he is, not afraid to shoot. Gets that one wide of the target, though. Substitutions for Floral Park. Certainly, you would say, Al, of the two teams here, a deeper bench for Akil Rodney to utilize, especially early on in this season.
And the bench is going to come into play today because, as you mentioned, it's hot out there.
And Mendez isn't afforded that much of that luxury. He might go 2 or 3 deep today. A younger squad for the Mustangs this year. As it is Floral Park winning that ball in midfield. Nice turn on the ball. Here's Kroon. Can he get to it? He's unable to, as it was Ammirati playing it towards Kroon.
And that is one of the chief combinations for this Floral Park offense. Ammirati to Kroon and Kroon to Ammirati.
So
they look for each other on the field.
The first sub, Mark Machado coming in, the sophomore from Mineola. He'll move up top alongside JDL Acosta.
There was the pressure again, Dylan.
And Ammirati quickly forward, and then just unable to get a touch was Caden Sy. His brother Kyle, part of that team last year, played a big role in helping Floral Park win their first ever state championship. Actually wears the same number as his brother, number 12. Sorio plays the feet. That one deflects out for a Mineola throw. Mustangs only one game so far. They were hoping their scheduled matchup against Island Trees would have also been a game. Had to be a scrimmage, lack of officials. So this is their first league encounter with only one non-league game played. Not the case for Floral Park. They've played 3 games already, 2-1 on the early season.
Yeah, they're more seasoned at this point, Dylan.
And even though there's a lot of new faces, or at least faces who are in new roles for Floral Park, it's that same culture that Rodney has created here. It's a winning culture of you go after every ball, you battle for every minute. And a lot of these guys, if they weren't starters last year, they were on the bench. If they weren't on the bench, their brothers were starters. So it all kind of plays into this culture as Sarcona is able to get on the end of that one.
Well, that is a great part of the culture of Dylan, to have family members take over for family members.
Without a doubt. And Mendez was quick to point out, too. He has been so impressed with Akil Rodney, who played at the highest level, right? Was an All-American, played at Virginia. A technical player in his own right, but he knows what he has here. So he's not one of those guys who tried to fit a square peg into a round hole. He said, what do we have here? We've got a lot of athletes. Let's play that game.
And it's worked beautifully for him.
Yeah, very much so. Here is Reese towards the box, and Sarcona makes the easy save.
And you just said it. He made the easy save. Mineola's got try to be a little bit more dangerous than that, just to play the ball up. Floral Park is too organized as a defense to allow that to create danger.
Yeah, somewhat ironically, or maybe not ironic, but in explaining how maybe stats don't tell the whole story, right? Mineola, unofficially by our count, they're out shooting Floral Park 6-4, but of course it's the numbers on the scoreboard that matter more, and it's Floral Park with the 2-0 lead, making the most of their opportunities.
Really, those have been all long-range shots.
Here's Donovan. Flicked out by Reese, and this could set up McCarron. He looks over to his bench at Rodney, but they will not utilize the long throw, at least out of McCarron. It'll be Donovan, another younger brother. Michael, part of that team last year. Plays the feet, gets the ball back, chips it into the 18. Osorio grabs it well. Sends it high into the air. Looking to win that. That's Machado.
See, there's what I'm talking about there, Dylan. Nice possession at midfield, and there was nobody to his right to play the ball off to. And so they're going for a home run pretty much every time.
Foul was called, though, against Floral Park. We are in the 25th minute. 2-0 the lead. Driven in, headed away. Reese turns, sets up his left peg. Reese doesn't get the full service he wants out of it.
It was a nice play by Reese. Create that scoring opportunity.
Quaresma to feet, well done. Acosta, slide tackle by McCarron. It'll be a Mineola throw. He will leave it. Reese will. And you see the replay there of that opportunity. The ball headed away. And here comes Floral Park the other way. They've got numbers if they can attack it. That was Parker Lee, the sophomore, number 7. Wins it back. Has come off the bench. Got a combination there with Kroon trying to play Preston Soteros. By the way, now that he's on our side of the field, you can really see the size of Brady Kroon. He is a big boy.
And he uses his body very well.
It's a luxury to have if you are Akil Rodney, because think about it, right? He's a guy who has excelled at the 6, right? Breaking up plays, being a defensive midfielder. Little miscommunication again, Osorio.
But that's because the sustained pressure on the backs of Mineola by the attackers from Floral Park.
And now because of who Floral Park graduated, Kroon asked to push up a little bit in the field, right? Being an attacking midfielder, but he still has those defensive midfielder principles to his game.
Well, I think everybody on the Floral Park squad is got to play two ways.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Kroon plays it up, slide tackle out. And we will have a Floral Park throw.
Wasn't sure if that was a foul or not.
Yeah, I was waiting. That's why I kind of hesitated there. Rodney looking to sub on the throw. His own says, no, you were a little bit too late to do so. There is Kroon in the midfield. If you are an opposing player and you see that locomotive coming your way, you might want a second. You're not sure if you want to go full-blooded into that 50-50 challenge.
Well, it's the way they want to play, and as we talked at the outset of the match, physical teams win games.
And Floral Park, the 2-0 lead here early on. Damian Cherry capitalizing on a defensive miscue in the 6th minute, and then Caden Sy doubling that advantage for the Knights in the 10th minute.
Well, one of the things that is taking place on the field is that there are a lot of foul calls going against Mineola, and that's because Floral Park is first to the ball. They're winning the 50-50s.
And that was one of them. Ball served in. Osorio, he will collect that one. Now back and forth we go. As Mineola looking to possess. Ball played to this side.
That was well done. Now he should take a look again.
Carrillo did try to do that. He tried to push it
And
ahead.
12 was open on his flank, and he should consider doing that and trying to build from the midfield.
Reese to feet. Ball sent into the box, sent high in the air, quickly returned in, while caroming around and out for Floral Park. There is Cherry. Perez, that's that soccer IQ. Plays it back to Osorio, and he switches fields. Machado to Reese's feet. McCarron all over him and gets a dangerous set piece.
And that was the first time in the match that I can recall Mineola stringing together 3 or 4 passes, and it wound up in a dangerous restart in Floral Park's end of the field. That was well done.
So this looks to be Reese, as you see the foul in that bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Frank Vizone will count out the 10 yards. So this one from about 26 yards out for Reese. Hammers the shot towards goal. Nice save by Sarcona. Certainly the most dangerous of opportunities yet for the Mustangs.
And Mark Machado was right there in case of a rebound. He followed it up, and no one else did. So if Sarcona hadn't been very steady back there, they might have gotten their first goal.
Ball served in. I've been impressed so far with number 7 for Floral Park. That's Parker Lee, although a foul was just called against the Knights. Again, played on the carpet. Left-footed service, headed away by McCarron. Second ball, though, won by Najib. Here's JDL Acosta. Looks to combine on that far sideline with Najib, but they were out. A triple sub now for Floral Park. Wanted to also mention, hey, listen, Uptown Taco, they're having a streaming party. You gotta love those kind of parties, right? If you're watching at home and you want to get a bite to eat, don't miss a moment, head over to Uptown Taco. Listen, after this sportscast, stop by Uptown Taco for a post-game party. You can mention this game and say thank you to the staff for making it possible. Sounds like a good idea, right, Al?
I'm there.
A little post-game taco. Here is Cherry. Good defending by Quaresma.
But
Cherry
good
wins
recovery
it back.
by
Yeah.
Cherry. Right on it.
He tried to play through one of his teammates. Here's a quick one for Reese over the top. But Sarcona does well off his line. The senior came into this game already with 15 saves. Great shot stopper. Plays at a high level, plays for Hoda travel program. 50-50 ball. Won by the Mustangs. All of those in the early goings were going Floral Park's way. So here's an opportunity for Floral Park, but Osorio makes the save to deny Christian Savardia. Here's Reese. Ooh, a little flick. Consider McCarron not impressed.
No, but it was a good thought. It was a quick touch, and He almost got it through.
Sario sent it to midfield. Kroon wins that 50-50 challenge. And the ball will go out for a throw, but an opportunity here, Al, for, again, Floral Park to push their numbers up and put pressure here as both teams will sub on this restart.
Dylan, it's axiomatic that it gets more tiring playing defense in your own end and attacking in the other end. And Floral Park has spent a good portion of the time in Mineola's end.
We do have some ball kids at midfield. Either that or they just have their own balls they brought with them.
Which would be a first.
Perhaps part of the future here of Floral Park. That's a right-footed shot wide of the mark. There you see those guys right there juggling a little bit. And listen, if Akil Rodney doesn't know their names yet, I suspect he will pretty soon.
I'm sure he will, and he's got them fitted for uniforms in a couple of years.
That's right. And Pattis is like, hey guys, stop juggling. There's some balls behind the net. Let's chase them down. So not only officiating the gameplay, but officiating the ball kids as well.
Well, Steve Pattis is no stranger to club ball and all levels of ball in Long Island.
Pattis over the top. This is a good battle here between Reese and McCarron. Hands on the shoulder for McCarron, so he is called for the foul, which sets up another dangerous set-piece opportunity for the Mustangs.
If the Mustangs can capitalize on one of these restarts, they're right back in the match.
See Carrillo over it, as well as Christian Perez, but Perez backs off. So this will be Lionel Carrillo, the senior captain. You can see the ball right on the 10-yard line, which means it's 20 yards from the goal. If Carrillo can get it over the two-man wall, he has a chance here. Tries to do that. It goes off the back of one of the defenders. That was Declan Lally. He's the other starting center back. So a wasted opportunity there for Mineola. You always want to try to get that ball over that wall, right? Give the attacking player, if you're on that, taking that set piece, an opportunity. Here's Acosta, tries to go to the sideline. Good interception by Donovan. Pressure, there's Cherry again. 50-50 challenge. Won momentarily by Mineola, and there is Donovan. You mentioned all over the field is Joe Donovan.
And Cherry. Cherry plays one ball, then he comes back and helps out again. He doesn't just make a play and stand still. He's right back in it.
Acosta to Reese. Reese, too, popping up in all kinds of different places. He started the game as a left wing back. Now looks more like a center forward.
I'd like to see Reese, instead of trying to carry that ball forward, lay it back and then look for the ball on the return.
Here's Kroon powering through a couple of Mustang defenders. Pushing it ahead, but offside the call. Second time the Knights have been ruled offside as we are inside the final 4 minutes here of half number one, which has been score-wise dominated by Floral Park. They've got a 2-0 lead. But you can see, Al, from maybe the halfway point, certainly the later stages here of this first half, Mineola creeping forward, getting more dangerous.
Well, they have the technical players up front to force Floral Park into fouling and creating dangerous restarts. They just have to connect on one.
Ball in the midfield, won by Floral Park, and they'll look to combine. Kroon tries to go over the top. Osorio has to play it out of his 18, does so with his left foot. And here is Cherry. Flips it back for Kroon. avoids the tackle, plays the feet to Donovan, and Floral Park is like, wait a minute, we could play this game too.
And they are.
Yeah.
Right now, because they're up
beautiful.
2 goals, they're playing with their heads up, and they're playing very confidently.
Those guys like, we don't want to hear that Mineola is the technical team. We could play off each other as well. See in the top left of your screen inside the final 2 minutes of this first half. Donovan will leave this ball. Over the head of Donovan. Kroon breaks that one up, only momentarily though. Here comes Reese trying to navigate through the Floral Park defense. That was similar to what I was trying to do on the Southern State Parkway.
Did it work for you there?
It did not work for me either. In my hour and 15-minute trip out from
Ouch.
Oakdale as we are approaching the final minute of the first half. Off the chest, Acosta sends it towards the sideline. Fortunate though for Mineola, it'll be a throw for the Mustangs. Can they maybe get something here in the closing seconds of this first half? Here's Acosta. The service cleared away. Second ball clipped in. McCarron calls for it, heads it back, return to sender. Look at the physicality in the athleticism there by McCarron. Here's Donovan with his right peg. It'll be a throw. Ball played up, final 17 seconds. Donovan trying to find Cherry's feet. This time good recognition there by Christian Perez, realizing the speedster was right there. Acosta centrally, Kroon up to midfield, and that will do it for a first half, which if you were late arriving, you may have missed these 2 goals that were scored from Floral Park as the Knights jumped ahead. You see right here, little too casual from Matthew Osorio. Damian Cherry capitalizes for the tap in. That's 1-0 in the 6th minute. 4 minutes later, it is Caden Sy off that long throw, flicked far post in the net. And the defending New York State champions Floral Park with the 2-0 lead at the break. You're watching it all right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is halftime here in the soccer game, and we are here with 3 of the finest officials that we've got in the sport. We'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Steve Denisi. I've been in the organization for 24 years. Also a college national referee, USSF regional referee.
I'm Jonathan. I've been reffing for 6 years now, but this is my first year doing Nassau, and I've been playing at Oneonta at college, playing for 2 years now.
My name's Bobby Baldwin. I've been a referee for 14 years. I've been with the Nassau County Association about 10 years. I'm also a NYSOA NCAA official, in addition to a USSF and futsal referee. And just recently got involved with amputee soccer and was fortunate enough to represent the U.S. in the Gold Cup in Mexico recently for World Cup qualifiers, which was a lot of fun.
All the years that you're doing this, can you tell us what kind of preparation you guys have to do off the field to be in the type of condition that you're in to officiate an entire soccer season?
Fitness is probably the most important thing. You got to keep up with your fitness. That's the most important. The rules, because they're changing, and just watching the game, all the clips that you see on TV that are shown at all the games, and the best way for education is watching soccer.
And Jonathan, you're new to Nassau County Soccer. Can you tell some of the young guys that are interested in joining, or the older guys that are interested in joining the association, what did you have to go through recently to get to where you are today?
So I had to take a lot of classes, just like recertifications to get started, get back into it, because I've had experience reffing, and for Nassau, for high school soccer, JV, whatever it is, it's a process, but it's definitely worth it in the long run. And to tag along what Steve said too, just preparing is also very good off the field. I always grew up playing soccer and, just watching it on TV. So that also helps a lot, tag along preparing and, just having that experience is very, very helpful.
What kind of things do you look for as an official and make sure that your games are going well?
During the game, as a referee, you're constantly measuring the temperature of the players on the field, trying to determine who's frustrated, and so we can identify problems before they manifest. We try to manage those situations as best we can without having to use the whistle, hopefully, and or worst case scenario cards. But that doesn't always work, and those tools are there at our disposal to be used as necessary. I have to say that over the years, the coaches and the players and the association have been working together, and I really see an improvement all across the board, whether it's spectators, fans, player behavior, bench decorum. We've made strides together, I think, in finding a good middle ground, because at the end of the day, it's always going to be a little crazy, and that's why it's fun. As referees, we feed off of that energy.
What kind of advice or what kind of message you want to give to parents? They're an important part of our game, fans in general.
I think the spectators, I think the most thing is to be positive and to set a good example for their young student athletes. If they're screaming profanities or negative stuff throughout the whole contest, it's not a good way to grow. Not every call is going to go their way. It's 50-50. You have a 50-50 shot at getting it right, as we always say. But if you see the overall big picture, I think a lot of fans don't understand the overall big picture of the game. And the big picture is this: one call doesn't decide the game, and sometimes they harp on the one big decision. Now it might be a big decision, but remember, soccer is, whether it's 70 minutes, 80 minutes, 90 minutes, 120 minutes, it's the whole length of the game. So they, as the athlete should perform throughout the whole contest, the referee is also performing throughout the whole contest.
Can you tell people just one, I guess, basically, and we're going to try to put that graphic up there, but how people can get involved if they want to become officials, and advice that you have to young guys coming into the game?
We've worked hard on the offseason to recruit, first of all, a lot of newer referees, a lot of referees that are experienced, and but new referees to the organization. I think that's going to be reflected on the field this season. You're actually, for the first time, going to see 3-man crews on regular season games, which we never thought would happen, at least in my lifetime. So that's really exciting, and a testament to the recruiting that we've done at Nassau County Boys Soccer Officials Association. So that would be the best place to go, is the website, Nassau County Boys Soccer Officials Association. If you Google that, it'll come right up. Just make sure you've got Nassau Boys. There are several different associations out there, although ours is certainly the best.
Like what Bobby said about recruiting and stuff, we're really excited, because in the next 3 years, we want to be really, really young, really, really top-notch in the state, and that when we send the best product out to the field, the fans are going to appreciate it, the coaches are going to appreciate it, and more importantly, the student athletes are going to appreciate it.
We want to thank all of you guys for joining us here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, and very honored and privileged to be talking to you guys this evening.
For the latest news in high school sports, be sure to check out varsitymedia.net or follow us on social media at Varsity Media.
You've seen the dedication, the long hours, the early mornings, the sacrifice. You know your athlete has what it takes, but how do you make sure the right people see it? The recruiting process isn't easy. Coaches are flooded with highlights, but how do you stand out in the crowd? At Varsity Media, We specialize in creating game-changing ISO videos, high-definition, athlete-focused footage that highlights exactly what college recruiters want to see. With our up-close ISO video, we capture your athletes' key moments. No more wide angles showing other players. This is just your athlete's pure, raw talent. This is more than a video. This is the opportunity your athlete deserves. Give your athlete the edge they need. Make the right impression with Varsity Media's ISO video service. The future starts now.
Get ready for an exciting season of girls lacrosse. The Long Island Junior Lacrosse League is gearing up for its 6th season this fall 2025. Don't miss out on the action. Join us for another incredible season of competitive lacrosse right here on Long Island. LIJLL is dedicated to providing high-energy, competitive environment for girls lacrosse while keeping the game close to home. Over the years, we've had the privilege of hosting many of Long Island's top high school and club teams, fostering talent and passion for the sport. With fields located in both Nassau and Suffolk County, we make it easy for players to compete and grow their skills. Contact us today, and we'll see you on the field this fall.
Welcome back to Floral Park. Al, do you have an order there? We can maybe call something in at the snack stand. I don't know. You want a nice beverage, maybe some candy for the road? I'm not sure what they have over there.
I don't think I can talk with my mouth filled.
All right, but there's the snack stand open for business, and so too were the Knights of Floral Park. A good first half for them in this Nassau A1 opener for both teams. They've got a 2-0 lead. Al, let's take a look at some of those first half stats for you. And you can see the goals going the Knights' way. Again, Mineola out shooting Floral Park, but many of those opportunities, at least early going, they were wide, they were from distance, really not challenging Sarcona, but Sarcona, you see their 3 saves. 2 were late, and 1 that was a free kick right on him. He had to make a save and corral the rebound. Only 1 corner, and Floral Park, when Mineola has more of the ball, that's what you said, it maybe causes frustration for Floral Park, and you see the fouls their way, and they also have the 1 offside so far, does Floral Park.
Another advantage that Floral Park has is those long throw-ins that are virtually another corner.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because we'll go and we'll take a look again at the 2 goals that were scored in the first half. The first one, Al, as we take a look, you see number 11 there, Damian Cherry. Well, he took advantage of a little casual play there by Osorio, wins the ball, and then an easy tap-in for Damian Cherry. That made it 1-0 in the 6th minute. You called for the long throw. There it is. Charlie McCarron flicked on beautifully. That one right off the training ground, and it was scored by Caden Sy, and 2-0 lead for Floral Park.
Well, if Mineola is going to change the dynamic of the second half, they are going to have to play the ball side to side as well as direct. There have been a number of times when they've had the midfield, but instead of using it to build up, they've tried to play it forward, and Floral Park is equal to the task in picking those drives into the 18 and flicking them away.
And now we had to get away from it early because we had the opening kick at the game, but here are the keys to this game, and you can kind of see a little bit too. Listen, a set piece also with a throw like McCarron's, that is equal to a set piece, right? So that's one of the keys for Mineola, using the soccer IQ. We've seen that at points, certainly. Floral Park looking to execute their defensive strategies, dominate with the physical presence, finish our chances. So 3 check marks for Akil Rodney's guys. Mineola, probably 2 out of the 3, right? You want to defend set piece a little bit better. Certainly a McCarron throw, as we saw.
But I will say again that Mineola has very dangerous attackers, and they can break through at any time and cause Mineola to get back into this match.
And that next goal, if we have one, Al, absolutely critical in this one. If Mineola gets it, it's game on, right? It's a brand new game. If Floral Park gets it, game over, you would suspect, for the Knights.
Well, if Mineola gets the next goal, then the temperature of this game is going to go way up.
Nice block. The block was by Carrillo. Quaresma sends the ball out for a throw for Floral Park. That's Danny Marrero. Marrero, one of many players who have switched positions. We mentioned before there's an injury. That's to David O'Shea, who is the starting forward. Marrero serves it in. That's a dangerous one for Cherry. A push in the back, no foul called. Loose ball. Donovan comes onto it, and Donovan hammers it off the football goalposts.
And there's that name Donovan again. He's all over the field, and that was a great strike. It was just a little too high, but it had goal written all over it.
Love that confidence, too, by the junior. You take another look in the bottom of your screen. That ball bounced around, headed, and here comes Donovan, right, coming onto it, settles it, and then a left-footed strike. Doesn't miss by much. Marrero, ooh, by 2. Mineola players, wins it. Now he looks to combine.
Good 1-2 combination. They just ran out of real estate there.
Amarati into the box, chested, and the Knights were offside.
But Cy got loose in the in around the 20-yard line, and he was almost a dangerous player at that point. He couldn't control the ball that was played up to him.
Keel Rodney coming into this game said he feels like his team playing well. It's part of a progression, just getting better day by day, game by game.
And I think he used the words millimeter by millimeter.
He said that's the team message right now and the focus. He said it would be easy, right, to kind of pump up our chests after winning a state title last year. But again, 8 seniors, starters, graduated off that team. Teams around them have gotten better. They've got a bit of the bullseye on them. Kroon just over the crossbar.
So far, Floral Park's had 2 dangerous strikes that could have gone in. They just missed by a little.
And you know that was part of probably that halftime team talk, right, by Rodney. Let's not take the foot off the gas. We've not won anything yet. They got their 2 goals in the first half in the first 10 minutes. And the 2 most dangerous chances here inside the opening 5 minutes of this second half going to Floral Park. There is Donovan. Clips it to the near post, and Osorio comes away.
And they're using quick combinations and balls out to the flank to get loose and create opportunities.
Leo Cuello. Bit of a dummy run there by Barbosa. Goes out, though, for a Floral Park throw. When you look at the landscape a little bit in Nassau A, certainly these 2 teams, Nassau A1, 2 of the better teams. Of course, Lawrence, year in and year out. They beat Mineola last year in the semifinals, losing to Floral Park in the finals. We expect Lawrence to, again, have a fantastic season.
Yeah, I wouldn't count out North Shore either. They were one of the 4 semifinals last year, and they generally come up with a dangerous side.
Yeah, they lost to Floral Park in the semifinals. We could have maybe a return of those 4 in the final 4. There is Kroon. Clips forward looking for Cherry. Good recognition there by Quaresma. Mineola a year ago, 14-2-1. 35 goals scored, only 10 against. We mentioned before that loss to Lawrence, 1-0 in the semifinals. You graduate key players in Jesse Castulius, Michael Palumbo, their forward, Mohamed Al-Saidi, who scored 13 goals a year ago. Now a chance here for Mineola. Low shot, nice save, and again, Sarcona as important now, making sure there's no rebound.
But that was a dangerous strike. And that was the first time that Mineola showed some quick counter capabilities.
And that was the sophomore, Mark Machado. A lot of big boys there colliding into Steve Padditz. Kroon was one of them who was just there, as well as Quaresma. That is one place where first-year head coach Rob Mendez from Mineola thinks that his team has an advantage. Yes, they've got technical players, but when you look at their three center backs, Kesey, Perez, and Quaresma, big boys, athletic, physical. They could win those balls in the air.
And he's depending on them to grow as a unit and make that 3-5-2 possible so that they can control the midfield while they're still patrolling the back.
Shouts of handball from Mineola, none given. And again, Osorio well off his line. He's got to win this ball, but Cherry was actually ruled offside on the play.
Good play by Osorio coming out of his line and taking away the play.
Here is Reese. Putting his foot on the ball. Carrillo, Reese again off the combination. Mentioned Rob Mendez. If you're curious, as I was, hearing the last name, yes, the brother of Carlos Mendez, former New York Red Bulls captain. Big parts of that Mineola community, the Mendez boys.
Yeah, there's great pedigree there.
And both defenders in their day. Carlos Mendez, the center back. His brother, an outside back. Played out for a throw, quickly taken. Cherry chases after it. One there by Acosta, but one right back.
And look at Cherry again, stripping the ball.
Amarati plays it central, and that was an important tackle because that ball was going to land right. I think that was Donovan's foot. You can see a bit of the switch, certainly. We saw it in the first half, right, where Acosta playing more up top, and there you see that important slide tackle for Mineola. Donovan forcing that one out. Leo Cuello, the junior, could also play up top as a 9 or as one of the 2 strikers. Here's Kroon, slide tackled away for a throw-in for the Knights.
Right now we're back to where we were at the beginning of the match, where Mineola needs to string passes together to create some offensive movement, but they're being stymied at every turn by Floral Park's presence on the field.
We always talk about styles make great fights. That's what we kind of have here, right? Where 2 contrasting styles at work here. There's that long throw by McCarron, looking for Cherry. Osorio picks it out, plays it quick to feet. And Mendez says one of the beautiful things about being in Mineola is you've got soccer players, right? These are guys who play year-round. You mentioned before, Juan Felipe Flores comes in from Colombia at the end of last semester, and he's right into that starting 11. They're guys who live, breathe, and sleep the sport of soccer.
Well, Dylan, you can see the potential that Mineola has. Right now, they haven't had enough early season experience to kind of put it together at the level that they're going to be later in the season.
Perez picked that one off. McCarron does the same on the other end. Felipe Flores, we just mentioned him. Here comes Cherry. Osorio well off his line, slides at it, wins that ball.
That was a great play by Osorio because that was a dangerous opportunity for Floral Park.
I'm clearly going to date myself here, but you know who he reminds me a little bit as we see him again coming off his line. Cherry, tons of speed. Osorio recognizing that. Plays a little bit like former Colombian goalkeeper Rene Higuita.
Well, there you go.
Right?
That's an apt comparison. That was a really strong play by Osorio.
Haven't seen the scorpion kick, though, out of Osorio just yet. I'm not sure Mendez would allow it, but...
I don't think so.
Nice movement into the box. Shot just over. What an opportunity there for Mineola. And it was at the foot of Camille Najib.
Najib went down and got it and put it on goal. And there was nothing that Sarkonik would have been able to do about it if it was under the crossbar.
There you see that replay in the bottom right of your screen. Quality opportunity, Osorio. What I liked too out of Osorio, right, was early in the game, we mentioned, right, that first goal, maybe too casual, but has not stopped being aggressive to come off his line.
No, you have to have the goalkeeper mentality. The pass is passed, and you get yourself right back up and play the match, and he's done that.
Kroon. Ooh, dangerous there. Perez losing it. Cherry now chasing him down. Back to Osorio.
And there's Cherry again.
Yeah,
Cherry's a one-man wrecking crew here. He's instantly on the backs of Mineola and creating a bit of havoc.
But I believe the Knights were ruled offside there. I'll refrain from saying it's the cherry on top.
Please don't.
But he is. He's on top. He's the slow striker.
All right.
But I will refrain from saying that one will go out of play.
Can we edit the tape out before that goes in?
Well, first, let's talk about Uptown Taco, because if you're hungry for flavor that hits different, come on down to Uptown Taco in Floral Park. Whether you're craving sizzling steak, tender chicken, or maybe you want the fresh-made vegetarian options, every taco is crafted with bold, authentic taste. Pair it with our house-made guac, crispy chips, and a nice cold drink, and you'll get yourself a meal worth celebrating. From quick lunches to late-night bites, Uptown Taco is your neighborhood spot for tacos done right. Stop by Uptown Taco, where every bite is a fiesta in Floral Park. And we say hola to everyone at Uptown Taco in their watch party as well. Mineola looking to spoil that party.
Something dangerous brewing here.
Yep, that right flank. Donovan defending. The cutback and turn, Leo Cuello. Can't get it to Reese. Heads it back in. Still dangerous. There's Najib. Turns. His service was blocked and cleared to the foot of Cherry. Cherry and Perez. A fantastic battle. This one won, though, by Christian Perez.
Yes, he did.
Diving header by McCarron. There's JDL Acosta. So Acosta and Reese, it looks like, have switched positions. Acosta playing more of that wing back. That ball played on the ground. And Osorio will chase it down.
We're not there yet, but we're getting to the point where Mineola is going to have to press up a little bit and put more pressure on all over the field if they're going to create some scoring chances. They're 2 goals down with about 25 to play. They still have time to get one before you get to that magic 15-minute mark where you're going to have to press up.
There's Osorio. Losing it to Marrero, but Mineola comes away. Here is Reese, stops and starts. And Donovan, no nonsense, ahead to Cherry. Cherry wins it. Cherry and on net. Osorio slides out to clear the ball out. It will go out, though, for a corner.
Again, a very, very heads-up play by Osorio.
And I think we were just given a red card there. We'll show that replay again, but you could see Osorio as the last man. That was called a foul by Steve Paditz. And as so, that is denial of a goal-scoring opportunity by the last man.
I didn't see. He used the hand. I can't see it until we look at the replay. Did he use his hand there?
Well, he was called for the foul. Here you see it again. Let's watch. Cherry. Osorio will slide out. And he got Cherry.
Oh, and he went down. Yeah.
So look at this. Mineola has to go to their backup goalkeeper, Anderson Cazares. Free kick here for Floral Park. Just outside the 18. Mineola will finish with 10 men and now have to deal with with your backup keeper.
I was lauding Osorio for the play, and Paditz had him for a foul. But on replay, it showed that he went underneath Cherry.
So here we go.
Heck of a way to break into a game as a goalkeeper, to have the first play be a defensive restart.
Anderson Cazares sets up a four-man wall in front of him. This one from just outside the 18. So here comes a free kick for Floral Park. Over the four-man wall and into the back of the net. As easy as you like.
Sam Amirati.
And Sam Amirati makes it 3-0 for Floral Park.
Well, that was a case of Mineola doing the pressing up that I was referring to a little bit early, and Osorio came out, but unfortunately, trying to stop Cherry on the breakaway, he fouled him. Unfortunate play. I'm not sure that it was intentional, but it is a dog cell.
So 65th minute goal by Amirati, his second of the season already. And we mentioned, right, that's maybe almost part of the cruelty of soccer if you are Mineola. You have opportunities, you have some possession, you have the ball, you're feeling good. A dog so red leads to a well-placed free kick by Amirati, and suddenly now you're 3 goals down. But we know something about these Mustangs, they will not stop fighting. Carrillo pushes it forward, and well off his line was Sarcona. But Amirati, he is a guy who's been everywhere, right? Started as a right back as a sophomore, was a left back last year, now playing in the right midfield. And it's interesting, right? Because Akil Rodney says he's a guy who has a knack for delivering in the big moments.
And he did that just there. That was a beautifully taken free kick.
Mentioned before, right? If you can get it over the wall, you've got a chance. That's what Amirati did, and really no chance at all for Mineola's backup keeper, Anderson Cazares. So free throw-in, excuse me, for Floral Park. The Knights with a numerical advantage, both on the scoreboard, but also in the players on the field now. After that straight red to Osorio. But here come the Mustangs the other way. Shot, Sarcona makes the save on that low attempt from Reese.
That's an indication from Mineola that they're not giving up even 3 goals down.
And barreling over the back, that was a foul called against Floral Park. As there is Perez, checks the rear view, plays it back. And really the first touch now for Cazares.
One of the things Floral Park probably does not want to do now is get called for these fouls. They need to keep their aggressiveness, but they don't want to get called for a play that's going to put the ball right back in their end.
And now with the red, unfortunately for Mineola, you leave Osorio now for the next contest as well.
Yes.
Ball played up the middle. And a foul called against Floral Park. And actually went the other way.
I kind of thought it would be. Mineola was playing the ball on the ground, from the ground.
Karen will put it back into play. That one sent out for a goal kick. Step right up to the future of fun. Clawcade at Roosevelt Field Mall. It is part arcade, part prize adventure, and all excitement. Test your skills at our wall-to-wall claw machines with exclusive prizes. Challenge your friends to see who can take home the biggest haul. With endless games, flashing lights, non-stop thrills, Clawcade isn't just an arcade, it's an experience. You can bring your crew, bring your skills, and bring home the prizes at Clawcade. Located right inside Roosevelt Field Mall. The claws are waiting. Are you ready to play? And now I know who I'm bringing on my crew to Clawcade. I'm bringing Chris Sweeney with me. Because Sweeney knows those claw machines. Like he's got young kids. He's at the arcades. He's at Clawcade. He knows the deal.
Can he hire himself out as someone who works the machines, like they do in video games?
Chris is open to all opportunities. Just call him at home. No, I'm just kidding. Throwing from Mineola. Ball sent high into the air, near side, 50-50 challenge. And a foul called against Mineola. So another set piece opportunity.
It might have been handball.
For Floral Park, it'll be McCarron take. Expect an in-swinger here from McCarron. He goes right to goal. Why not? Punched out by Cazares. And here's Reese on the quick counter. And you can see the frustration out of Reese. Good defending there, though.
Mineola is not folding its tent, and I know they're playing a man down, but they're not giving up. And in a lot of games, that team, a man down, sometimes makes up by playing harder.
Hmm. 50-50 challenge, a hard one. Mineola the throw. It's the first league contest here in Nassau A1. Floral Park scored twice inside the first 10 minutes. Goals scored by Damian Cherry and Caden Sy. And then Sam Amirati made it 3-0, 65th minute free kick after Matthew Osorio was called for the Dogs So Red. Karen wins the header, and then a handball called against the Knights. Next up for Floral Park, they take on, as we get to that in a moment, shot and a goal! Camille Najib. And that is proof of what you mentioned, Mineola not waving the white flag.
Exactly. Someone forgot to tell them or send them the memo that the game is supposedly over because they're not buying it. Nice counterattack by the Mustangs. And now you look at the clock and you're 16 minutes and 2 goals down and you're beginning to assert yourself. Let's go after the next goal. That's what Mineola was thinking.
So my math was clearly wrong before. It was the 55th minute for Amirati. This goal in the 63rd minute for Najib, his first of the season. First for Mineola. Again, they lost 1-0 to Kellenberg, and here come the Mustangs looking for more. Trying to find Reese. Reese gets it in the net! Game on!
Wow. Wow.
And you see it, Al. Look at the way they attack with numbers. The ball pushed forward, and Reese off the keeper into the net. From 3-0 down, it is now 3-2.
And you can hear the difference in the Mineola crowd right in front of us. They went from very quiet to very excited in 30 seconds.
Yeah, 2 goals, seconds apart. Najib and Reese. And suddenly we've got a new game.
And that free kick by Sam Amirati is looming large.
McCarron sends it deep. And it will be a Mineola.
I think it's a throw-in.
Yeah, a Mineola throw. Najib and Reese goals inside of a minute. And Mineola from down 3-0, down a man, on the road. They've made it a 1-goal game. Kroon wins the header. Ball sent back to midfield. And look at this, numbers now as Reese.
And he got it through again.
A foot race, Donovan wins that.
And Donovan again is Johnny on the spot because the Mineola player had an opportunity to go right for goal.
And that was Machado. As Amirati was trying to chase that ball down, it will go to Mineola. Perez, nice touch to midfield to Carrijo. Second ball. It's won by Mineola. There's Carrijo. Trying to find Reese. Intercepted. Puts his head on it. A lot of energy right now from the Mustangs. And as you mentioned, certainly their crowd right in front of us re-energized as well. It's a throw in for Floral Park.
Not going for the long throw.
Reese tries to body his defender, loses it though. Now they double the ball. Reese is such a competitor.
Yep.
Wins that free kick.
Foul called.
Carrillo. McCarron Such a steadying presence in central defense. Reese clips it forward. Machado. Again, McCarron. It is 1v3, but
A high foot was called. Dangerous play. Mineola has a restart.
there's Najib. He'll leave it.
Now, I don't know whether he's going straight on goal or he's going to try to find the far post on a pass.
Well, Perez has that ability, certainly. 34 yards, though, from goal. Three-man wall, clipped in, headed out.
There was no one there.
The ball sent the other way. Again, Mineola playing a man down, but they've scored 2 goals with 10 men. Crunching slide tackle right in front of the Mineola bench. It'll go for a Floral Park throw. See in your screen there, 12.5 minutes remaining. Here's Kroon. Cleared out of play onto the street. Look out. That was straight out of that, what is it, State Farm, those commercials?
Yes, that's an All-State commercial.
Allstate, yeah.
I don't want to give airtime
They're
to
not one
another.
of our sponsors, but
yeah.
you can reach out to Ben Turchin if you want to advertise. Here's ball to the near post, cleared away. Camille Najib, Zane Reese, goals inside of a minute have put a charge into the visitors.
And they got another call, so they're going to get another restart and put it back into the Floral Park end. It's a question of who can win the 50-50 bowl now.
Yeah, Perez driven. Carrillo serves it in as well. Looking for Najib, but Sarcona there off his line.
Sarcona was looking for that, and he was first to it, but it was a well-plotted ball.
Sarcona boots it high into the sky. One there in the midfield by Carrillo. Reese battles for the 50-50.
And now
Carrillo pushes it ahead, trying to find Najib. Here's Reese. Nice ball. Leo Cuello against Donovan, turns inside. Cuello goes down, no foul given. Carrillo clips it in, cleared away by McCarron.
And clearly the table has turned in the last 5 minutes. Mineola has Floral Park back on their heels. Floral Park can mitigate the circumstances by playing the ball into the corners in Mineola's end and taking the air out of the ball.
Cherry to feet. Good clearance down the other side as Soteros was trying to run onto it. Throw in for Floral Park.
Amirati.
Amirati grabbed well by Mineola's backup goalkeeper.
Who's now exhorting his teammates to get out, but he should have waited just a tad longer so his teammates could get out and challenge for the ball at midfield.
That is Anderson Cazares. Came in for Osorio, who was given the dog so red in the 55th minute. Now Floral Park looks to play a little bit. Carrillo. The Jeep splits
Got
defenders.
through.
Here comes the Jeep to feet. Machado. And again, in case of glass, you find number 22, or at least he's in the area, as Charlie McCarron sends it out of play. Inside the final 9 minutes.
And now they have a chance to put it back into the middle.
Carrillo sends it high into the air. Trying to run onto it is Cuello. He does. Donovan sends it back out towards midfield. Perez clips it back in. An opportunity. It goes over the head, but the offside flag on that far side was raised. Al Freeman there sounding a lot like the Mineola fan base there, thinking they were so close to that equalizing goal.
Well, without taking sides, it's nice to see two teams competing, even if the circumstances seemed like it was otherwise.
Here's Amarati. Takes it down well.
Now again, Amarati was trying to get in to go, which is fine, but he also could have taken the ball to the corner and started to play the clock.
It's all those kind of teaching moments that when Akil Rodney goes over the film and he has his guys in and they can watch the film. It's those subtle little differences. As Floral Park will get another throw. Interesting as well, they're not utilizing McCarron right now, who's been their best defender. Now's the time for him to stay back. Let others take those throws. Battle in the box, Kroon. That was, I thought it was deflected, but it will go out for a goal kick. Taking quickly as you see the time.
Yeah, they got the ball in very quickly, and then they're going to try to get the ball down quickly.
There's Carrillo. Sends it in the air. Hard challenge, and a foul was called against Carrillo, who will also go into the book. Yellow card given to the senior for this crunching tackle in the midfield, right there.
Yeah, I was waiting for the clock to stop. Some 7 or 8 seconds elapsed on that last call. When the official stops the play to issue a yellow card, the clock's supposed to stop.
Here's McCarron. Driven in, but a Mineola player, the first to it. Is clipped in front, Amarati offside.
No, you can't throw it out there. It has to start with a restart.
Mineola against the odds here. Get a late equalizer. Final 5 minutes remaining. Oh, good ball. And some numbers, some room here. That shot wide of the mark, though. Shot was taken by Lucas Chatterton, whose eyes got kind of wide there with all that open space. Cazares. Mineola have one more opportunity here. There is Reese. His goal made it 3-2. Offside. Flag. Well, if there was a flag, it would have been raised. The offside hand is raised.
Good enough.
Kesey's attempted service block. Remember his brother Joe, what a great player he was for Mineola. The two of them cut.
Handball.
Same
He
cloth.
got away with it.
Not given. Najib tried to save it, but it goes out for a Floral Park throw.
Good effort, though. What Floral Park has done in the last minute or so is they've gotten back to playing the kind of ball that got them there to 3-0 in the first place. They're winning more of the 50-50 balls, and they're keeping Mineola out of their end.
There's a good look at Kesey, sophomore, one of that center back trio for the Mustangs. Floral Park trying to hold on. Here's Amarade. He's on an island here, and he does now what you implored him to do earlier. Well, we thought he would go to the corner. Goes to the net. Nice save. Rebound parried out and cleared. First opportunity there for Cazares. Kroon goes low. Cazares another save. Punts it high in the air. 2.5 minutes remaining. Leo Cuello. Kesey.
Nice play.
Sends it towards the corner. McCarron will just
No one home.
shoot that one out. Floral Park can take some more of this clock, or the time, excuse me, off the clock. As we're inside the final 2 minutes. The game looked to be over when Sam Amarade scored in that free kick moments after Matthew Osorio was sent off with a red card. That made it 3-0 in the 55th minute. All right, go home, everybody, right? No, said the Mustangs. They scored twice inside a minute. Camille Najib and Zane Reese, the goal scorers. And now Mineola in the final 90 seconds, pressing forward for the equalizer. Amarade picks it off from Perez and Kesey. But Perez this time gets the better of it. Perez sends it up towards midfield. Shuts it down by Reese, goes far post. There is Najib towards the corner. Najib, 1v2, still gets it out. That ball clipped inside, headed, and Sarcona makes the save. An opportunity in the box for Machado. As the clock is stopped, Kesey looks like is cramped up, and he will be subbed off. Another look at that last opportunity, clipped into the box, flicked on, if anything there, when he looks back on it, Mark Machado will be like, I didn't get enough on that.
No, he didn't, but he was there, and it was a legitimately taken chance.
Approaching the final 30 seconds of this one. Ball sent to midfield. You hear some of the Floral Park parents saying no foul. The Knights, of course, no hurry to put this ball back into play.
And you heard the word corner.
That's where Amarade was trying to go with the ball. And speeding forward, Mineola, will they have one final opportunity?
Nope.
That one put towards the net. Machado was going towards goal, but that final whistle has sounded, and Floral Park it's one of those, if this was the postseason, you'd say they survive in advance. This is just the game number 1 in Nassau A1. But they win this one 3-2. And one of those weird games, too, Al, where, I don't know how happy Floral Park is. Mineola, I think they're happy for rallying the way they did. So interesting here where Floral Park gets 3 points, but a lot for Mineola to build off of here.
Yes, I think Mineola has some positive takeaways from the game, the way they played early and the way they finished late. And that's something to build on. Floral Park, they won the game, and I'm sure Coach Rodney's going to say it's not enough to win the game, it's a matter of finishing the game.
Yeah, again, they were up 3-0. They scored twice in the first 10 minutes. 3 different goal scorers for Floral Park. It started with Damian Cherry, capitalizing off the defensive miscue. Then Caden Sy scores 2-0 at half. Mineola, they're pressing, they're getting opportunities. And then a red card, a dog so red. On the ensuing free kick, Sam Amirati scores the goal, 3-0. But then the fight that the Mustangs showed, impressive despite defeat. Najib and Reese scoring within a minute despite being down a man. Mineola pressed for that equalizer, unable to get it. And those guys, Floral Park, as they'll go to their supporters section, cheer them on, clap them on for their support. They do get the win in this wild Nassau A1 opener.
And you can describe that as wild, but you could also describe it as another chapter in the Mineola and Floral Park rivalry.
Before we let you go, some upcoming sportscasts for you here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. It is Clark and Malvern. Malvern, one of the better stories early on in this soccer season. Our buddy Rob Anderson has Malvern going. They're scoring lots of goals. They're winning games. That should be a fun one at 5 o'clock. And then we head to the Gridiron as Freeport and Massapequa in a Conference 1 clash. That'll be 6:30 on Friday night. So we'll send you back, all the way back to the first half. Here's how we started things as Damian Cherry, a tap-in after that miscue. Great throw-in, a flick on. It is 2-0 thanks to Caden Sy. Then this perfectly placed free kick, Sam Amirati, 55th minute, 3-0. But here come the Mustangs. Najib makes it 3-1. And then Zane Reese makes it 3-2. Game on. An opportunity, but the third goal would not materialize for Mineola, as it is Floral Park, the defending New York State Class A champions, who pull off the win. For our executive producer, Ben Turchin, our technical director, Chris Sweeney, for Tony DeMasso, and Steve Ferrandino with all the great moving images, for my broadcast partner, Al Freeman, Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us from Floral Park High School. We look forward to seeing you next time right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.